Whether new shooter, longtime gun owner, or even police officer or soldier, your handgun needs a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Crimson Trace.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, broadcasting nationwide. Have a question? Want to make a comment? Call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. That's 866-825-5486. Or email tom@guntalk.com. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
I mean, come on, really. How much fun can we have? We're talking about guns and shooting and holsters and ammo and scopes and gun cleaning and lubricants and stuff and taking people out and shooting, taking them to the range and say, hey, you want to try this? I love taking people to the range. I'm happy to provide ammo for them. If they've not shot before, it's basically I'll just say, yeah, just shoot it. It's fine. We'll bring more. It's all good. And watching them smile, and it's great. By the way, I can't wait for the after show because I got questions to ask. If Michael comes in and says, oh, man, we had a great time at the class this week. I'm going, oh, what? And then we got to do the show, so I don't know. So I can't wait. We'll find out in the after show. We'll find out what transpired. Right after the question of what gun should I get, probably the most asked question I get is, how do I clean my guns? And part B of that is, and what do I use to clean my guns? The never-ending saga of gun cleaning. Of course, the best solution is to get somebody else to clean them. But failing that, we brought in an expert who can help us out. Greg Connor is the president of Slip 2000. They make really good gun cleaning stuff. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Good, Tom. How are you today?
I am great. I mean, I think we'd probably all agree that getting someone else to clean our guns would be like perfect. But lacking that, what we want is stuff that works well and doesn't make us work too hard. Is that a fair statement?
Very fair. My trouble, and one of the reasons these product lines or products came along, is I couldn't find people to clean my guns for me.
I understand. I feel your pain. So how did you come about making this stuff? What happened? How'd you do this?
Well, I've been in the chemical industry for the past 35 years, and for the past 25 years or more out shooting and experimenting with the products in our own lab and with our own guns, trying to find products that were non-toxic, moreover user-friendly, that we could use to clean our guns up after a day at the range. So we spent our time developing products from within.
Well, you know, a lot of us have done the same thing, but we don't have your background in chemical engineering and all of that. So I keep getting reports from people saying, well, you know, if you'll take this and combine it with this and then heat it to this and then mix this thing in, I'm going, I don't think I want to go do that, guys.
We did all that for you. We did all that for you and developed the product line that we have. And it started out with the simplest choke tube cleaner product that we came up with some 20 years ago. Then the gun lubricant, and then on from there. So we did all the nasty adding this, adding that, heating it in our own back room, and we came up with a product that does it for you. Just apply it and you're done.
All right, and one of the things I noticed about your product line is Slip 2000. By the way, it's slip2000.com. Is you say non-toxic. How important is that, and how does it compare with other stuff out there?
Well, because our products are pure synthetic-based, most of them built from renewable sources, the bigger thing is the end user using the product. And we've all used the products that chap our hands, that cause our skin or cause our irritation in our breathing, and none of us wanted to be around that. And working around the heavy industrial customers that I've worked around for 35 years, again, we were out to develop products that the end user could use without any health hazards coming about after or while they're using these products. But you need one that works then, too. So that's what we've developed.
The other thing I run into is that there's a couple of products that people say, this thing cleans really well, but you don't want to leave it on your gun more than about 5 minutes, man. You got to get it off because it'll eat up the metal. I'm going, well, I don't think I want that on my gun.
Absolutely. That's the other side of things. You don't want to be using the corrosives that are attacking the bluing, attacking the steel, and the working parts of your gun, or at least I don't want to.
All right, so you got cleaning products. You got the Slip 2000 line of lubricants and products. Break it down for us. What, if I say, okay, I've got a dirty gun, what do I start with, and how do I work my way through the line?
Most of our products will work with the lubricants, for example. You can apply a lubricant to anybody's gun that's been lubed with any of the other petroleum-type products, and our lubricants will penetrate, break the other lubricants loose, and then it bonds with the steel, and it will help keep anything else from penetrating, like carbon and plastic wad fouling. It will help keep it from sticking to the metal or to the barrels or to the choke tubes of your guns. If you're going to clean a gun from scratch, our most commonly used product is our 725 cleaner degreaser. Simply spray it on. You may have to brush a little bit of your carbon if it's not been cleaned previously very well, and then rinse it off. Again, a non-toxic, non-hazardous. Go ahead.
You said rinse it off. You mean like with water?
Rinse it off with hot water or cold water. Yes, I know. We're all afraid of getting our guns wet, but believe me, it's been done for many, many, many years. In the military, we were taught to take the weapons in the showers with us and clean them if we had to. The important part is to come back and reapply lubricant to all the metal working parts on that gun to keep it from rusting.
Okay, so what's ELW?
EWL is our extreme weapons lube. Yeah, the original gun lubricant was the Slip 2000 gun lube that we've all used on our shotguns, pistols, and rifles for 20-some years. The EWL is the extreme weapons lube, and we designed that for military application, really, for chain guns and machine guns. However, the AR market has really caught on with that product, and it lasts probably 2 to 4 times longer on a gun. And when I say it lasts, you can go out and shoot a gun 2 to 4 times more rounds through it before a gun will start getting sluggish or slowing down. ARs, for example, we can shoot 2,000-plus rounds, pull a bolt carrier out of that AR, and wipe it clean with our fingers. Our lubricants, the EWL, doesn't burn off like a petroleum-based lubricant does.
Okay, that makes sense. First time I was exposed to EWL, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and we're out shooting with a couple of guys who go to sandy places and shoot things.
Yes.
And, and we're training with these guys, and I've got an AR there, and it's acting up, and one of them says, give me that gun. And he whips it out and pulls the bolt carrier out. He reaches in his bag, and he pulls out a bottle of EWL, and I'm thinking he's going to put a couple of drops on it. He says, oh, no. He says, you want it wet. And I mean, he's putting this thing on, and he works it a couple of times. He says, now shoot it. And that thing ran all day long. And so I had no idea what EWL was, and I went, okay, if he uses it, that's one point for it. But the fact that it just ran my gun all day long, and we were shooting the heck out of it, I was impressed. And I didn't even know what this stuff was.
The main difference between our lubricants and others, our lubricants don't have any petroleum distillates in them at all. And petroleum-type products flash, burn off at 200, 225 degrees. Well, while they're burning off, they're leaving carbon behind. And carbon is causing a gun to get sluggish, plus the petroleum is attracting dust, dirt, and sand. The benefits to the Slip 2000 synthetic lubricants is they will not attract dust, dirt, and sand, number one. Number two, their flash point is much, much higher. They'll actually last up to 1,200, 1,250 degrees before they burn off. And this being in an AR that typical petroleum products will only last 500 rounds, our Our extreme weapons lube will go up to 2,000 rounds before it burns off.
Okay, well, that's what I found. Tell you what, Greg, hold on a second. I got more questions about gun cleaning. I want to ask about the difference between regular lubricants and grease and soaking parts and what do we do with all this stuff? So when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. We're going to take a quick break here. If you'd like to join us, if you have a gun cleaning question, 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Be right back.
Making news 30 years ago, the modern internet made strides when 5 supercomputers were linked to form a network. It was the same year ArmScore entered the U.S. market. What a coincidence. Why not use the internet to celebrate? Get big online discounts and rebates on the world's #1 selling 1911s from Rock Island Armory and quality ammunition from ArmScore. Get yours at armscore.com/guntalk. ArmScore, USA strong for 30 years.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to springfieldarmory.com. That's springfieldarmory.com.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now GUNTALK presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At shopguntalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. Shopguntalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. Shopguntalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGuntalk.com. That's ShopGuntalk.com.
Who will you trust with your guns and valuables? Liberty safes are the best built and most secure safes on the planet. They sell more gun safes than any other brand. It's about trust earned through performance. If your Liberty safe is damaged by fire or attempted break-in, they'll send a new safe right to your home. Protection from thieves and fire. Trust the #1 maker of quality gun safes. LibertySafe.com.
All right, we're back with you. We're talking gun cleaning with Greg Conner. He's the president of Slip 2000, and on the web you can take a look at it, slip2000.com. Greg, at the risk of starting some kind of religious war, you make grease, you make oil. When should I use grease? When should I use oil?
The customers we find using grease are the people shooting the M1 Grands, the people that want to see a heavy coat of a lubricant on the rails, on the bolts. And I'll tell you, I'm not a big fan of grease. We use simply the gun lube or the EWL or the EWL 30. The lubrication properties between the EWL and the grease are the same, with the exception of the viscosity, the thickness. Yeah, again, I don't want to start that war either. We make it because we get requests for it.
Sure, people want it, so you make it. Okay, but in terms of actually what it does for the gun, your gun's going to run fine with either.
With our lubricants, yes. You're not going to have the collection or the chance of collection of firing residue, sand, or anything sticking to our gun lube versus the grease. We just, some people like to see that. They don't think their guns are lubed, and in the past they may not have been unless they have a thick film of grease sitting there.
But we don't need that thick film anymore.
No, you do not. No,
all right.
you do not.
Maybe the most important piece of information for people is do not remove the red cap.
Poke a hole in it and leave that red cap. It is the seal between the bottle and the tip.
When you get the bottle, you'll see what we're talking about. People unscrew the top, and they see this red stopper in there, and I'm guilty. First time I did it, I got me a little pair of pliers. I grabbed it. I worked it all out. Well, then after that, you can't seal it up. You just remove just basically the stopper. So all you want to do is poke a hole in the red cap, right?
Yes, and that's all over our instructions. It's going to be on the new labels because we've mailed out, and we understand. Somebody calls us and says, "Hey, I threw that top away." We'll mail them a new one. In fact, we usually mail them two.
Okay. All right. Now, I mean, obviously, we can't do the whole thing here, but you make it easy for people to try some. You'll send them a sample pack for nothing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have a form on our website that they can fill out, and we will mail them samples. We have participating dealers all over the country that if you walk in, they will hand them samples to try. And we're doing this. We are firm believers in our product, and it's like giving a kid a piece of candy. Use it, and you will come back for more.
Now, if somebody's listening and they're a gun store, and could they contact you and they can get these samples so they can hand them out?
Absolutely. We encourage any and all gun dealers to give us a call, fill out our dealer information. We will ship it to them and hand it out to their customers. We have many stores that when you buy a new gun, every new gun they sell, they give them a sample of Slip 2000 gun lubricant. They believe in it that much, and they want them to use it.
Well, probably stops some of the calls coming back where people have a problem with the gun, but also it's going to encourage more sales. So that's just pretty smart on the part of the gun store.
Yes, it is, and it drives the consumer back to them.
There you go. I got a call for you. Hold on just a second. Jim's going to join us out of Nebraska on line 1. Jim, you're on, and you've got Greg from Slip 2000.
Yes. When I started listening to your guest, I looked in a bunch of my catalogs to see if I could find his products, and I couldn't find him in any of my catalogs, from Brownells to Sinclair. I don't know about my local dealers, never had heard of his product before, and I was just wondering, other than going online, is there any place I can get the products?
Good question.
Jim, Brownells is in fact, our lubricant's one of their top-selling lubricants. We've been in Brownells for probably 10 years now. We're not grouped in with their normal lubricants. They have us a little bit separate, but I'll say Midway USA, it's in their catalogs. It is, from my knowledge, because of Brownell's association with Sinclair's, it should be in the Sinclair catalog as well.
I just went on the Brownells website, and in the little search thing, I just put in Slip 2000, and your products come right up. So that's basically how you're going to find it, Jim, is just put in Slip 2000. You don't need a space or anything. Just Slip and then 2000, and you'll get the whole thing.
There are, and I don't have the list in front of me, but there are a number of other catalogs. You can also buy from our website, slip2000.com, Amazon. There are a number of other websites or retailers that carry our products online across the country as well.
Okay, good deal. I also got another call. Steve is with us on line 4. He's calling out of Little Rock. Got a question for you. Hey, Steve.
Hi there, sir. How are you?
Great.
Good. I had a few questions. I'm a U.S. Marine reservist, and one problem I've noticed with some of the Marines I've worked with is really getting some of the carbon buildup out of the chamber in the M16, M4 platforms. And we can sit there and clean them for literally hours, go to try to throw them to the armor, and we can't do it because they're still dirty. And I was wondering if the Slip 2000 is a product that could help break some of that up, and what is a good way of getting into that chamber and clearing it out? Because it seems like no matter how much PLP or hops
did you ever come to the right place? Steve, just hold on. You came to the right place.
Sure.
Steve, thank you for your service, by the way. But, the U.S. Marine Corps at Quantico and several other locations uses our 725 gun cleaner for cleaning their M16 platforms as well as the saws and several other platforms. But the 725, if you can, they soak it in ultrasonic cleaners about 5 minutes, and it will pull all the carbon out as well as any brass or copper or lead or anything else that's in the barrels too. But if you can spray it on and let it set for a couple of minutes and hit it with a nylon brush, if you can get it in there, and then rinse it with hot water and re-lube it. If it's that baked on and that tough, then the carbon killer comes into play for the bolt carrier group, for example.
Oh, that's excellent. That's exactly the type of product I would need to pass on to those guys, because it just seems like CLP is never enough. And we literally spend, a few hours every time we shoot those things to get them, up to armor specifications before we turn them in. So I appreciate that, sir.
They've got a product called Carbon Killer, too.
If you can, again, Systems Command, Quantico, Virginia, we've been contracted there for a number of years, and we're providing all the cleaners and lubricants for their weapons at the TBS Armory and Precision Weapons facility at Quantico.
There you go. And of course, you can also get the sample pack, and you can try it yourself. Slip2000.com will take care of that. So there
Absolutely.
You go. Rick, listen, I've got to run. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've gotten my gun cleaning 101 and 201 right here. I appreciate what you're doing, man.
All right. Well, we thank you. We thank you for your time, and we thank all the servicemen out there for their service. Have a good weekend.
All righty. Thank you. Good products. Yeah, like I say, the folks at the Vata Group, while I was working with Destin Mounts, so he just reaches in his bag and pulls out a bottle of the EWL, puts it on my gun, and all of a sudden it's like instant armor or tune-up. The thing just starts running great. So this is good stuff. And you know what? Here's the other thing. If you get your gun clean, you use something like the cleaner degreaser, you really get it clean, and then you use a good product like this, it makes it so much easier to clean the next time because stuff's not sticking to it. I've become a believer. I really have. So, and it's real easy. It's not like you got to have a whole lot of esoteric mumbo jumbo. We're going to cook it up in the kitchen kind of concoctions. People say, "Oh, well, I use transmission fluid and then mix it with." No. You don't want to be an amateur chemist. These guys do this for a living. Get their good stuff. And also it's non-toxic. I like that. So there you go. Slip2000.com. All right. We got some folks on hold. We're going to get to you. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN. What are you carrying? Open? Concealed? How do you choose? And why?
Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Don't forget to sign up for a chance to win the Armscore pistol, the 22 TCM pistol. All you have to do is go to guntalk.com/win, put in your name and your email address, and we don't sell your name, by the way. We don't do that. And we'll pull a name at the end of the month. We just announced, in fact, somebody just got the Taurus that we gave away. That was very cool. Got a nice note back from him. And so you can go to the website. It actually shows the gun, and you get 100 rounds of ammo and some other stuff. So guntalk.com/win. Just before the show, I had my friend over, and we were talking. He was showing me the LCP that he just bought. And I was showing him an Ruger LCP pistol with a Crimson Trace laser on it. And it was kind of like you could tell, he's an old school guy. He's a shooter, a good shooter, but old school. He's looking at the laser. Yeah, okay. And I said, well, look, this pistol doesn't have much in the way of sights, like as in almost none. And he said, yeah. And I said, that's great if you're holding on to him with one hand and shooting him with the other. But when you put a laser on it, the gun is inherently accurate. The pistol will shoot accurately. It's the sighting system and the short sight radius that is the challenge. That's true of most little bitty guns. But what if you could put a really, 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 really good sighting system on it? That is, a laser. You put the laser on a target with an LCP, if you manage the trigger properly, you could make consistently good human-sized body shots at 25 yards with a little bitty LCP. Yes, you can. It's all about putting the sight on it. And then I said, well, let me show you the other thing. This is another thing I like about lasers. Try shooting while moving. I'm not talking about taking steps. I'm talking about moving fast, i.e. running. Forget looking at the sights, but you can keep the laser on a target. I actually showed him I put the laser on my refrigerator as we ran by the refrigerator. And I said, it's easy. These were unloaded guns, by the way. So it was kind of fun. It's interesting. It's always fun to be able to discuss things like that. And I was kind of anti-laser for a long time. Probably for the first 10 years of doing this show. And then finally got schooled up and went, oh, okay, I get it now. Thank you very much. All righty, let's go to line 3. Brian's in Vancouver, Washington. Brian, thank you for your patience. What's going on up there?
Well, I live right across the river from Portland, Oregon. And here in Washington, we've got this Bloomberg mess of a law that was passed last year, which nobody knows what it means. And some law enforcement people say they won't enforce it. And I'm sure there's other law enforcement people who are adamant about enforcing it. But the ads for this law in Oregon are starting to air. And there's also ads that they're going to require Oregon citizens to keep their guns locked up inside their own homes. And there's nothing. What? Hello?
Go ahead.
There's nothing that's, there's no retort to these ads on the television. They've been running for a week and a half. And that's
the Bloomberg guys went in. The Bloomberg guys have spent 6 figures already on advertising in Oregon on this. And of course, all you have to do is hit like maybe 2 or 3 major population centers, and you've spoken to enough people where that's what matters. And here's what they're doing, because I'm glad you caught what they're up to. They're saying this is the same thing that we passed in Washington State. It's a background check. Everybody wants a background check bill. And they call it that, but then they add other things to it that they never talk about and the media never talks about. Oh, yes, we're also going to require you to keep your guns locked up when they're at home. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to tell you about it. And it's certainly not going to be in our ads. And they just keep pushing and pushing. And this is what I've been talking about for some period of time. The challenge is, how do you combat Bloomberg's billions of dollars when he walks in and says, we'll spend $100,000 or $500,000? He can basically buy up the advertising, which means you buy up the messaging, which means you occupy all the oxygen in the room on these discussions. So what are you hearing? Is anybody talking about the downsides of these proposals?
Well, I'm in Washington State, so although I can, drive across the bridge and be where this is coming up, I'm not directly involved. It doesn't mean that I'm not trying to spread the warning, because nobody in Washington State knows what this law means even now. Last time I checked with the gun dealers, they hadn't received letters from the BATF telling them what their responsibilities were. So
right.
They didn't
now
know.
In Oregon, we've got at least one sheriff. Josephine County Sheriff Dave Daniel. He says, look, this proposed law is a mess, and it's unenforceable. He says, I will not enforce it. He says, I have felonies going on daily in Josephine County. That's my priorities, not checking people for these stupid background checks. So there you go.
Yeah, I heard that there were 7 sheriffs down there already had signed a letter stating pretty much the same thing. And we had that.
Doesn't matter.
Here.
Well, the deal is in Oregon, you've got a supermajority in the legislature, and they're going to do whatever they want to do. It literally does not matter what the people say in this case.
And the governor will sign it too. She's already announced that she's in favor of this. So
people who say, "What can I do?" Let me just say, here's what you can do. When the next election comes up, don't sit at home. Start 3 or 6 months early. Find a candidate, volunteer for this candidate, walk the streets, knock on doors, make the calls, get involved, or you're going to get what you get, which you're going to get a Democratic supermajority, which can pass any gun control law it wants to, and there's nothing you can do now, or there's maybe a few things, but there's not much you can do The trick is you simply have to elect different people. That's really where it is. Brian Looks, I appreciate your call. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we got to take a break here. I'm sitting here. I get so keyed up. I'm having so much fun talking about this stuff that we got to take care of that. So let's do this. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Yes, I get excited about this. So that's okay. I bet you do too. Our number here, 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Batagroup. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
All right, back with you, 866-TALK-GUN. Let's go to, actually, we have two Rays lined up. We're going to go to line 2, Ray in the Bronx, New York. Hello, Ray, you're up.
Okay, Tom, I'm having sort of a Paul Revere moment here. I was watching, I guess it's a replay of something on Blaze TV, and they were talking about some steps being taken against the accumulation of metadata. Apparently, a congressman has introduced something called the SSRA, which is the Surveillance State Reform or Repeal Act, whichever it stands for. But this is something we can all use, and we can all get people, even not the 2A guys, all the civil libertarians and everybody, to call their congressman on this, because I'm still burned up about these people who are driving from Florida into Pennsylvania, and they go through Maryland or into Virginia, and they get scanned. The license plate comes up and says, "Oh, you're a gun owner," and for no other reason than that, they're pulled over. The car is torn apart. Kids are terrified, and the governor and the state police officials in Maryland seem to have no concern about that.
What is the bill? What is this called?
I believe it's called the Surveillance State Reform or Repeal Act. I forgot what the R stands for. It was on Blaze TV. They were talking about it. It was about to be introduced or has been introduced by some congressman. Hasn't gotten much play or traction because there's too many people who don't like the idea.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will look into it and I'll get more information. It's funny you mentioned, I was sitting at a traffic light today and looking up there and go, well, there's yet another camera. There's nowhere you can go that there's not a camera. And I realize that for some people that doesn't bother them. For me, it does. It's a surveillance state. And yeah, it bothers me. But yeah, the fact that as you go into Maryland, they scan your license plate. They link that to a database out of Florida that says you're a concealed carry holder. They go, there's a pretty good chance this person has a gun in the car that's illegal in Maryland. Let's pull them over. And they subject them to what I would call at least some form of terror in doing that. Line 1, Tom is with us out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Tom, I'm so glad you called. What's going on with your pistol there?
Well, Tom, I'm not going to name the brand, but it is an
it's okay.
revolver.
It's a Taurus. Come on, it's a Taurus revolver. Okay.
It's a model 941.
Okay.
I received 2 of them. The first, I'm able to buy from a dealer, and the first came in with the rear sight falling off. Taurus offered to send me a replacement sight, but I was able to return the pistol to the wholesaler, and he made it good. The second one came out, and it appears to have the sights correct on it, but it has a horrible trigger pull. Numerous phone calls to Taurus, and they said it's factory set, 15 to 17 pounds, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay, let me jump in. Okay, let me jump in because I'm not going to have a lot of time. Some companies are really, really particular about trigger pulls because their lawyers tell them they have to be. And if they tell you that's what it is and we're not going to change it, then that's what it is and they're not going to change it. But it doesn't mean you can't change it. You can change this trigger pull. You happen to, Tom, you live in Shreveport, Louisiana. You live down the road from, if not the best, one of the very best pistol smiths and revolver smiths in the country over at Clark's Custom Guns.
And they will not touch it.
They will not touch it. Okay. Well,
No,
then they won't touch it because it's a Taurus?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I'm not sure where you go. There is one other thing you could do. If you could take it apart, if you can get to the lock work, you can put some moly grease in there. I've done that on revolvers before, and that might slick it up. But this may be one of those instances where you get what you get, and if you don't like it, it's time to get something else.
Well, unfortunately, I've got money wrapped up in it, and again, it was a dealer's cost. Thank God for that blessing. But I've offered it for sale for what I've got in it, and nobody wants it. Of course, I've told them I was dissatisfied with the trigger. Now, having said that, I called Wolf Springs. They don't make triggers for it. Taurus finally said, well, we have discontinued the rimfire line because of that. So that.
Well, I mean, Tom, look, here's the thing. I get that you're upset, and I am giving you the solution. You don't like the solution, and I understand that too. The solution is you don't like your gun. It's time to sell it for whatever you can get for it and get a gun that you do like. Join the club. We've all been there. We've all bought guns and said, man, I had a Remington, what the heck was it there? A Viper. Biggest piece of junk I've ever had. Terrible. Doesn't mean Remington doesn't make good guns. That one was a dog. I wouldn't even give that gun to somebody. It was such a beast. So there you go. Hey, let's talk to Ray on line 4. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Hello.
Yes.
I got to talk to you last year. You just talked to the guy with the PCM bullets, and you were getting ready to go to a show, and I'd ask you if you would check and see if the trigger pull. Can you hear me good, Tom?
I can hear you fine, Ray. Go ahead.
Okay. You were going to check and see if the gun, the slide, and the trigger pull and all was good for somebody that was handicapped or a female or something to that effect?
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, since that time, I had a heart attack, and I've been in the hospital where I couldn't get to a radio. So I don't know whether you ever answered or not, but I heard you talking to the Rock Island guy a while ago, and I thought I'd ask you about it. Unfortunately, every time...
Wait, Ray, I've only got a minute left, so let me answer your question, okay? I've got the pistol right here next to me. The slide on it is very easy to work. It's a very weak, if you will, or not a strong recoil spring. Real easy to work. It's a 1911 pistol. It's got a single action trigger pull, like a 1911 does, and so the trigger is very easy to work. The only issue is going to be it's a full-size steel pistol, or 1911, it's got some weight to it. But as long as you can hold it up, I think you can shoot this fine, and the recoil is not going to be bad at all, shooting a 22 caliber bullet, a 40 grain bullet out of this thing. So this may be the solution to what you're looking for. The trigger pull is very good. The slide is really easy to work. Just a pussycat. It's nothing to it. If you're interested in this, I would say get a hold of one. I think it's going to be something that you really do like, and hope you get to feeling better. Hope you recover. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
Just because we're wrapping up on the air doesn't mean we're done talking about guns. Stick around for the after show. It's our podcast-only version designed to include all the stuff we simply couldn't fit into a regular show. Call in now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, back to Tom.
Oh, fun stuff. We're definitely going to be having some fun on the after show today. Hope that you can, even if you're listening on radio now, be sure to go pull down the podcast of the after show, because you don't want to miss out on that. We have a lot of fun there. All right, Randy is in Texarkana, Texas, online too. Hey, Randy, what you got there?
Well, I've got about a 1964 made full choke Revelation 410. It's a 3-inch mag, and it's bolt action. It holds 1 in the chamber and 2 in the clip. I know. I've heard that you can shoot a 45 long Colt to a 410, and I was just wondering how safe it'd be with this old gun.
I'm not sure why I'd want to do that. I mean, I don't know who. You said you've heard you can do that. I don't know who said that. If you have a gun that is made, there are some revolvers that are made specifically to be able to do that. In your case, you would have a non-rifled barrel, a smoothbore barrel. It would be about as accurate as throwing a handful of ice. You would have bullets turning over within 10 feet that'd be going end over end. Assuming it would even be safe, which I doubt that it would be. Let me just say this, don't do that. It would not be a good idea. I appreciate the call, Randy. John's in Tulsa on one. Hey, John, you're on Gun Talk.
Yeah, hey, Tom. I just wanted everyone to know that these background check laws that are being proposed, it would be impossible to implement them without it being required that all guns be registered, because in order to make sure that everyone goes through a background check, the government would need to know who owns what, because they would need to know that a sale had actually taken place. And the only way you can know a sale has taken place is if you already know who owns what, and that would mean registration. So it's really just a backdoor to registration of firearms, and this was proven when they tried to do it at the federal level, when our Attorney General actually sent out a memo saying that to enforce this would require registration. So it's really just what it is.
No, you're exactly right. And the thing is, they're not going to include the registration in the first bill. They'll get that passed, and then they're going to come back and say, holy cow, do you realize that this background check that everybody wanted, we just discovered that there's no way to do this without registering the guns, and we know that you want the background check because you supported that. So clearly you're going to support the registration of guns, and we don't want to take guns away from you, like I've heard for the last 70 or 50 years or whatever. We don't want to take them away. We just want to know who has them. Well, and thanks for the call. Here's the thing, United States government, we don't want you to know who has them. There's no value to us. There's no benefit to society for you to know who has guns. All it does is has been proven time and time and time again around the world, and also in the United States, in several places, jurisdictions in the United States. Once you get the list, then you go and knock on the doors and you say, hey, you know this Ruger you got? You know this Remington you got? We got the list here. You can't have those anymore. Or, hey, we got a report from your doctor that you were feeling a little depressed. We've come here to take away all of your guns. Oh, yeah, and we know which ones you have because we registered them. And I got to tell you, you want to see civil disobedience? You call for the mass registration of guns, you will have millions and millions of people refusing. No matter what the possible outcome is, no matter what the possible penalty is, that's going to be a line in the sand that a lot of people will not cross. They'll simply say, okay, you want to make me a criminal? I'll go there with you. Because I'm not going to register my guns because I know what comes next. Go out and shoot this week, take somebody with you, and be safe.